Billy?
I think Billy's a good football coach. I know a lot of people don't like his play calling and this, that, and the other, but as I've always stated, there's only a handful of great play callers that's in the game right now or that's ever done it. When I ask people who they want to call plays, they can't give me an answer, right? This is his best team he's had. They have a chance to have a great year, but it's just like every team in America right now feels like they have a great chance because they haven't played a game. I wish we were not playing Long Island personally. I just don't know what comes out of that other than just getting a win because it's not going to show you anything. I mean, we're going to manhandle their fronts. I mean, just maul them. But I agree with what, Franz said, whether Todd Golden told him or what Billy told him. This is by far the most dudes we've had on a football team in a long time. Now you got to go play. But a lot of the teams that we're playing have a lot of good dudes on their teams. So it's going to come down to who protects the football, who gets the breaks, and makes enough plays. It's going to be a handful of plays in each game that's going to determine the outcome. And we have guys that can make those plays.
No telling how things will turn out till the bright lights go on. Then we see players, Shane, you've seen them before. They look good in practice, but you got the lights on, and it's different. I got a sense they got some guys like that who come alive when the lights come on. It seems that way. And what I like about this team is that they're really grinded down on defense, using the terms like championship defense as their goal, inspiring to do that, like we talked about today, Franz. If they're really that serious, they do have some players now. They got 4 safeties. They got 3 corners that can start. They got 6 defensive linemen. They got a whole bunch of good young linebackers. Aaron Childs is killing it, along with several other guys. If you look at that in the offensive line, I mean, it's hard. These pieces look really good. The question is how they look when you put them all together on the field, and that's what we're waiting to see, guys.
Buddy, I think that he's got guys that have been tested. He's seen them in action before. His first 22 guys really are very, very experienced guys. Where he's got the concerns are going to be the backups on the second unit are less experienced. And those are the guys that you're going to have to depend on at some point because injuries are part of the game. You're not going to go a season without having guys miss games. I don't recall a team that's gone a season without your top 22 guys without having a few missed games here and there. But he's got guys that can play, and he's got guys with experience. And he's got some guys like Cormani McLean, who we talked about today glowingly, who came here, got experience in a year in Colorado, left there under bad situation, came here as willing to walk on and basically subjugate himself to whatever Billy threw at him. He made a comment today. He said he hadn't had a 6 a.m. in forever, and that's a very important thing. But you get guys like that who are hungry, who can fit those gaps that you've got. And suddenly you got a ball club. You still got to play the game. You still got to get out there and play. And you got to be able to avoid injuries and fluke plays and things like that can derail you. But, something tells me we've had enough bad luck here for 3 years. Maybe it's time the tide turned on that. Yeah. And maybe it's time for the luck to come Florida's way.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, John, I'll get to the subject of Shane next. When you're lucky and good, like Scotty Scheffler is, I mean, that's a hard combination. Good evening to Kevin. He was at the press conference too. What was your takeaway, Kevin Brockway, the Gainesville Sun?
Well, encouraging news on DJ Lagway, obviously throwing 11 on 11 for the first time. And I think that obviously liked the physicality, the intensity of the second scrimmage, right? And, got a chance to maybe see some guys, second, third unit that, could emerge. And as Franz talked about, the depth is going to be important. And, something else we're not talking about this team, maybe we are talking about it a little bit, but maybe not enough is the speed too. Just especially at the wide receiver position and, J. Michael Sturdivant, and he's a grown man and he runs, 10-7, so I think that will play well too. I think Napier's finally got a team of guys, Dallas Wilson gets healthy. Obviously, Eugene Wilson's got to get healthy. But even Verdell Brown, who's emerging right now too, Tank Hawkins, TJ Abrams, you mentioned have a good camp. There's a lot of speed on this team too, which I think can really play well in the SEC and the non-conference games.
Yeah, I think you're right. Hawkins is a guy I want to see more of. And the tight ends, we haven't talked about Shane at all, which I think is, obviously they got some players there. Well, let me stop 1 second, Shane, before you comment. Let me get to something very near and dear to your heart, which I'm sure we'll talk about this morning. You and JC probably did today, and that would be Scotty Scheffler. When you see that guy playing like he's playing, and his iron shots have been spot on. He's been driving the ball okay. His putting has not been as great, but he makes a chip shot. What was that, 70 feet, whatever it was? That thing was not only a great shot, but it was a very lucky shot. And you think, okay, that's the game over. When he starts making those chip shots, it's not fair, Shane. Scotty Scheffler right now, he's not Tiger Woods, but he's been how many weeks now? 120-some weeks, been number one in the world. I think Tiger's got the record for more, by twice that. But how impressive is that guy, Shane?
Well, I said about a year ago, I think in my mind, he's as good as Tiger Woods because I think he beats better talent on a weekly basis than Tiger did. I don't care about how many weeks he's number one or any of that stuff. They're different types of players, in my opinion. Tiger got in trouble a lot and then hit the dramatic shot, right? He'd be in the woods and hit some slice around the 4 trees onto the green, stuff like that. Scotty doesn't really get in trouble. Every now and then he will, but I've never seen anyone control his golf ball the way Scotty Scheffler does with his distance. It's phenomenal. Nothing rattles him, nothing excites him. It's amazing what he's doing because I think the tour is 100 times better than it was when Tiger played.
It reminds me of a guy that we used to see, Jack somebody, lives down in South Florida now. He's pretty good.
Yeah, he's no Jack Nicklaus, but he's no Tiger Woods, but he's on his way to being somebody great, and he already is great. You know how much he's won this year so far? You guys know. Shane probably knows.
I don't have any idea.
23 million.
Yeah, I was going to say 21.
23 million. I remember when Jack Nicklaus was having his greatest year, because I almost left my job and went to work and did a book on Jack. Spent a good deal of time with Jack back in the 70s when he won two of the majors and had a chance to win the Grand Slam in 1 year. And I remember when his pay went up to he was leading money winner, and I think he had $220,000. And Jack said to me, "Do you think people think I'm being greedy? $220,000. This guy's got 23 million. I mean, unbelievable. It's fun to watch him because, like you say, Shane, everything is spot on, and they're so crisp. When he gets a bad shot, it's really, really hard to imagine. Anyway, so I know you guys don't want to talk golf. Shane, I know you want to go to bed and get your milk and cookies and get ready for your star tomorrow morning, whoever that is, so we can pick up this conversation. Final thoughts on give me a player, everybody. Give me a player besides, not named Lagway, that you're most excited about seeing. We had this a couple of times. Most excited now about seeing next. Go ahead, Shane.
Oh, I'm a big Katie Daniels guy.
All right.
Yeah. I liked him last year.
Yeah.
And I like him. I still like him. I think he's a really good player.
Franz?
I'll tell you, the guy that I can't wait to see is VB3. I really am excited about seeing him. Loved the way his dad.
For people don't know what you're talking about, Vernell Brown's the third. For people who don't
Yeah.
quite pick up on the jingo, we have 5,000 people following here, and I'm sure they're probably wondering, who? Go ahead.
Vernell Brown the third. His
Yes.
dad basically salvaged Urban Meyer's first year here. His dad was a total. You want to talk about an intense gator, but his dad on the plane on the tarmac when they came back from a loss from South Carolina with a couple guys who helped him out. Stood there and said if you're either with us or you're against us. If you're against us, get the hell off the plane. And things turned around from that point on with Urban. But that's the kind of family he's from. And today, Billy talked about the fact that this is a young man who's got all his priorities in the right places, and I can't wait to see him.
All right, Kevin, one player that you can't wait to see.
Well, I'll go defense. I'll say Aaron Childs because apparently he's having a very good camp. They're going to line him up a little bit at the jack at the edge, I'm hearing. So, take advantage of his pass rushing skills. And he's a guy, Under Armour All-American, him and Miles Graham together, two guys that are sophomores that are emerging. Up in Maryland, went to the same high school as Jelani Jenkins, was mentored by Jelani Jenkins a little bit, former Gator from about 10 years back. So he's going to be an interesting guy to watch on defense. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be on the come this year.
My guy's Cormani McLean. I want to see what he looks like and how he plays, and if he can be the 5-star he was believed to have been. All right, Shane, I'll say good night to you. The other guys, hold on a second. I'll get right back to you. And
All right.
pick
Have
up
a
the
good night.
conversation. Thank you, Shane.
Scheffler putts like you
Yes.
do, Shane.
Shane Matthews, who will pot up with Matthews every morning. If you're missing the show, folks, you're missing a good show. All right, so let you guys hear the conversation for a minute. You both were at the press conference. I want you to describe what you're hearing, what you're seeing, what you're feeling, what you're thinking, and as the group. It's important. This feeling part is very important, I think. And I think we're getting to a position where finally we're getting enough out of Billy to kind of get a vibe. Am I wrong about that, Kevin?
No, I think you're right. I think he's getting more comfortable with us, and I think that he's sharing a little bit more. I mean, I can remember a day he would never talk about players in camp, and now he's openly talking about a few guys. So I think the comfort level is there. I think he feels like a little better about the depth of this team, still wants a little more, I think. And I think that's what this week of practice is going to be all about, this final week of camp. I think he's also concerned.
Mm-hmm.
He mentioned this early in camp too. He said that this is a tricky week in terms of, the transition from the end of camp to the beginning of school and, what that entails and so forth. And, I think the fortunate thing, though, obviously is, unlike the first 3 years where you've had that, major conference opponent off the bat, you get LAU. And I kind of disagree with Shane in that. I think this team needs that for a little confidence and momentum, coming off the end of last season to build it and to see some guys and further evaluate some guys. And obviously DJ Lagway's situation, which while he's making progress and threw an 11 on 11s today, you're still wondering and you still want to know and you still want him to kind of build that calf back up so that, when September 13th rolls around against LSU, he's really 100% ready to go.
Kind of agree with you on that. Franz?
I'm impressed with how comfortable he is now. Kevin, you've been around him and you know how he's I think the reason, looking back, and I was thinking about this when I'm driving through this intense thunderstorm on the way back home. Oh my gosh. I'm serious. I counted 200 lightning strikes between
Wait,
games.
you counted them all?
Between
You
games.
counted 200?
Yeah. When you have one that comes down about 100 yards in front of you and it turns into forks into four.
You're just making a rough estimate. You didn't actually count 200.
No, I started counting then. I really
Oh my
did.
gosh. Well,
Because I've never been through so much lightning and thunder, buddy. I mean, I went through
I
the
take
Cal
your word
National
for it.
Forest, and Anyway, I think that maybe Billy was a little bit offish, standoffish, etc. in the past, because I don't think he wanted to lie to us about. I don't think he wanted to tell everybody I don't have the dudes, and I don't think he wanted to lie to us about it. So he was vague a lot, and he's far less vague this year than he's been. The comfort in which he and the ease in which he talks about his players is noticeable. Far different than what we've seen in the past. And I think it's because he, for the first time since he's been here, he sees a team and he knows he's got an SEC caliber roster.
Okay. All right. Now, here's a question at the bottom down there from Gator Art about the defensive line. I want you guys to think about what I tell them about our prize site called GatorbaitMedia.com. I told Franz I just saw today where we were actually turning 45 years old. Gatorbait, amazing, 45 years old. I just saw an ad we ran 5 years ago. So yeah, we're proud to have this. This is not like your everyday big box site. We're a boutique site. We don't try to cover everything all the time, and we're not going up against the big guys who have massive amounts of people. We got some very dedicated people who work for this site and do great work. And Franz Beard is chief among those. He's a senior columnist. We have other young people coming along. We have Lauren Meadows, the coach. She does a terrific job here on Tuesday nights. Myself, I write. We've got Carlton Reese is working on a book right now on basketball. Anyway, the point is, for you folks, I've been told I do a lousy job on these commercials for Gatorbait. Give it a shot. You're going to be glad you did. Kevin does some great work on the Gainesville Sun. There are other good sites. On three is massive. We're just who we are. We think that you'll like what we do. We hope you'll give us a try. GatorbaitMedia.com. All right, guys. What is the defensive line going to look like, Kevin?
Well, I mean, I think you start with Caleb Banks. I'm a little concerned about his, lower leg last week, although hearing that's more day to day. Tyreek Sapp, George Gums, right? That's pretty good too. And then at the nose tackle position, Jamari Lyons, I wrote about over the weekend, amazing story, from the broken, basically a compound fracture of the ankle. The Sid bone was out of the skin last year, and he's come in a year later and has been, really good at nose tackle. And you've got, obviously, the freshman Mbachu is pushing him as well. You got Brendan Bett there at defensive tackle. So you've, Mekhi Barrow, obviously, and I think he and Lyons, it's still a little bit of a position battle there at the nose, and Barrow gives you a little more size there, but it's coming along, I think. And, and Jaden Woods at the edge is another guy too that has really, obviously taken advantage of LJ McCray's injury a little bit, but he's another guy that you're hearing a lot about in terms of, his athleticism, his football IQ, and just overall as a guy that coming off the edge as a freshman could make an impact.
Franz D-line.
I think the Baylor transfer, Brendan Bett, is going to be kind of like a glue guy for this team because Ron Roberts said he could play him at all three positions along the line, and he'd be comfortable with him there. And you got to have a guy like that. You just really have to have a guy like that because it's so physical. It's so, these guys take a beating in there. People don't realize that your defensive line, your biggest job is you gotta sit there and hold up, get beaten up by all these offensive linemen so that the linebackers can make the tackles and make the plays. And you got to have a guy like Brendan Bett, who's a 6'5", about 310-pound transfer from Baylor. Ron Roberts recruited him to Baylor to begin with, so he's a known commodity for Ron Roberts. But Caleb Banks, if he stays healthy, should have a monster year. And we forget about Tyreek Sapp. Tyreek
I
Sapp.
didn't forget about him at all.
Tyreek Sapp is another guy
Yeah.
that you watch what Ron does with him in passing situations. He's liable to line up on the nose. He's liable to line up over the tackle, over the guard. They will put him all over the place. And I think that he's really comfortable with guys that I think he feels like it's a chess match and he can move these guys all over the place. You know, the thing that is impressive is this. Ron Roberts runs the creeper, doesn't try to out scheme you necessarily. The guy's pretty much going to line up the same way, but where they come from on the blitz is the part that's tricky, because if you're seeing the same thing but you don't know who's going to do what, it can be kind of confusing. I mean, Garrett Nussmeier, after getting sacked 6 times, said he was seeing ghosts, when Florida did. And the reason being, the Gators lined up the same way every time. I mean, as far as the people may have been different in different places, but you weren't running an exotic look here, with two, some of the stuff like Joe Lee Dunn used to do, buddy. Remember when Joe Lee Dunn would line up with one guy standing up and with one guy down and 10 guys standing up, and it looked like a covey of quail scattering. Ron Roberts will give you basically the same look every time. Now, the people may be different in different places, but you don't know what's coming. And
you like that creeper. You like
that
that creeper, don't you?
Oh, I love it.
I heard a rumor. I heard a rumor about that. They're so confident in that defense that the cheerleaders have a new cheer called Jeeper Creeper. They're going to use this year. Just I don't know if it's true, but go. I'm sorry, Kevin. I had to get it out there.
I know. Another guy we always forget to mention, kind of an unsung guy too, is Cameron James. Six QB hurries last year, a sack, and a guy that he kind of plays behind Tyreek a little bit, but tremendous athlete, heck of a basketball player in high school, probably the best basketball player on the roster, and uses that wingspan. He's just a big, long kid who can impact the passes as well with his wingspan. So he's another guy too that they have in their arsenal on the D line as well, in terms of somebody that can affect the quarterback. So he's got Robert's got a lot of creeper scheme. Who else ran the creeper scheme, Franz, is Buddy Ryan.
Yes, he did. The
and
what
Rex.
they called the Bear defense, which was a 4-6.
Yes.
That very, very similar in that he put one safety back and then 10 guys right there at the line of scrimmage. You just didn't know where it was coming from and everything like that. But Buddy. Yeah, I liked Buddy Ryan. I don't know. A lot of people didn't. He was
good
a crotchety
coach.
old guy that can.
I ran his defense as a defensive coach when Brendan was playing football. I was defensive coordinator, and I drew up the Bear defense.
Of course, he referred to the run and shoot as a chuck and duck, right? Kevin Gilbride threw the punch on the sideline.
All right, so guys, here's the deal. This came out today in the press conference. There seemed to be, I wouldn't say they were alarmed, but people are concerned. And they asked questions about it. Here they are. They got who they think is their quarterback, but they can't be sure because of his health. And yet, we don't yet know who the backup quarterback is. Now, that's not a bad thing, because I think the idea that Tramel Jones is looking so good that people like Jake are going to say, hey, watch this guy play. He's good. Aiden Warner is smart. I don't know but I know there's a lot of talk about Tramel Jones. So let's, in this final minutes, let's dissect the room and talk about it and what if they had to go there, and whether their running game and offensive line can help sustain that. And Lagway, we don't know about his health. It's a crapshoot. But then if he does go down, would you like to see Tramel Jones or Aiden Warner in there? You go first, Franz.
Well, first and foremost, I think Billy knows that DJ Lagway is going to be fine. I really do. I get I asked the question about injuries, and he just said I don't have to answer a question about injuries until Game 3, which is the
He
first
said week 3. He said
week 3, which is LSU SEC game. He has to give an injury report for that.
Yeah.
He isn't going to tell you what about DJ, and not only that, he's only going to play DJ maybe a quarter and a half against Long Island. He's not going to tell anything, and he's not going to throw a freshman into the fire and say telling everybody, well, if DJ can't go, I'm going to put my freshman out there. He's going to sit there and hold his cards close to him, and he's not going to give anybody any hints at all about that. He doesn't have to, and he's not going to.
Well, I mean, no, but there is this matter of not having a backup quarterback, quote unquote.
I would not be surprised, even if DJ plays and he plays a quarter and a half. They might use all 4 of them, don't you think? I mean, in that kind of a game. But that being said, I mean, I think ultimately they trust Aiden Werder the most, apparently, even though he might not have the upside or the arm strength of a Harrison Bailey, who I don't think they trust as much.
Yeah, I didn't mention Harrison Bailey. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. And Tramel Jones obviously has the greatest upside in terms of maybe being a dual threat guy and a guy that can throw the ball downfield a little bit. So I think it's I think Billy's being honest when he says it's, they're not 100% sure who it is yet, but I think that I think they all have, different ways of being capable. And I mean, we saw Harrison Bailey went through for like 300 yards in the spring game. I know it's a spring game and he had Dallas Wilson to throw to, but I mean, he does have the most experience per se, but it's going to be, I think it'll be an interesting work in progress, but I think you've just got to, fingers crossed, hope that, DJ stays durable throughout the whole season and is the main guy.
I'll tell you, this whole managing the quarterback thing is the key to everything. Let's just say, what's the upside? I mean, if you hope you get 10 healthy games out of DJ, right? At least 10, yeah. You hope you. And then after that, you can play, obviously, the off weeks. There aren't many of them. You can play your other guys. You got to have him playing and standing by the time they get to the end of the season. Because his last couple of games, Tennessee, FSU, are the key to everything and making the season go and get to that hopefully 9-win category. Or even
don't forget at Ole Miss too. They're gonna,
yeah.
It's not gonna be an
well,
easy.
no doubt about it. They got other games. So get to the end. That one game makes such a look. What 4 games did completely turned around the season and the future and saved the coach's job. And there's just that just doesn't happen every day, right? So, brilliant. Let's talk about the quarterback room, 1, 2, and 3 today. And if Billy sees he has to go to number 2, who should it be, Franz?
I think that the guy that he's probably leaning toward is Tramel Jones, but I think that he's going to make it a point not to say as little as he can about him, because I don't think he wants to put any added pressure on a freshman. It's kind of like last year. He avoided talking as much as he could about DJ Lagway. And everybody had seen DJ in the spring game and had so much belief that he was going to be the guy, but he had an experienced quarterback in Graham Mertz. So it gave him an ability to avoid talking about his backup guy. And I think that this year DJ's the experienced guy, and it gives him an excuse not to talk about the other guys as well. I agree with Kevin. I don't think they necessarily trust Harrison Bailey as much.
He's got the most experience.
He's got the most experience. He's a former 5-star guy.
5 MVP in a bowl game, right?
When he was a freshman at Tennessee, really threw the ball well. And then, Josh Heupel comes in and brings a quarterback that he wants in there. And that changed the entire trajectory of his career. He's become a wanderer since then. And this is, I think, his fourth team. Is it his fourth, Kevin? I think it's his fourth.
Yeah, UNLV, Louisville, and he worked under Jeff Brom at Louisville. So you talk about most experience, but knowing Billy the way I do, the most experience in the offense is still Aiden Warner. And that's why I think that he will get the nod, because knowing Billy the way I do and knowing how he values that and how he values someone that's in his system, and the fact that Aiden Warner has been in the system another year, I think he will lean towards Aiden Warner's two over Bailey and Trammell, who, while is certainly impressing out there apparently, and is, Billy said last week, what buzzworthy, I still think we'll probably have his trepidation, in using him, right away in that spot. So, but that's just my opinion, and we'll see if that's the correct one.
Let's talk about greatness. Not a word we use very often. You don't know that you aren't going to have another Tim Tebow until he's gone. Congratulations. Sim was named to the AP's all-time, all quarterback team. He was their quarterback for the all-time team. France, we've had this discussion many times about being fortunate to be able to cover the Gators when they're winning championships like 2 out of 3 years. Doesn't come along that so often. You think it comes along. I've heard so many players say, as pros, when they were rookies, they played for a certain team. They went to the Super Bowl that year. They thought, this is going to be fun. We're going to do this a bunch of times. And they never went back. It just doesn't happen. I look at certain players. I think Florida's got an all-time center. Jake, I think he's going to be one of the greats ever. And I think the guy who's got everything going for him to be that one, if he stays healthy, especially if he plays all through his whole season, for 4 seasons. Jaden Ball, how great could this guy be? Now I'm hearing he's a good route runner. I never heard that before. And I identified him early on, if you remember, Franz, way back when, before he ever played, as a guy I wanted, only because of what little glimpses I saw of him. His speed, his size, his cutability, how he stuck his foot in the ground. And he was better than I even thought he was going to be. And now here he is, bigger, stronger, faster, the strongest team in the history of Florida football. They got a team that can block for him. I mean, how good could this guy be, Kevin? How great can this guy be?
Well, yeah, the route running, he was a receiver, he played everywhere in high school. But he played safety, he played linebacker, he played wide receiver, he returned kicks and everything. So I think he just always had that varied background. But yeah, no, and I think the strongest kid on the team, one of the fastest kids on the team. Another guy, really good basketball player too. So just overall athletic ability. Yeah, no, I think he has potential to be great, but you've got Jacoby Jackson behind him too. So I think you're going to run them both, and we'll see if a third running back emerges. I know Franz.
Daniels.
Excuse me. I know. Shane likes him, but Duke Clark is another guy too.
I hear about him. Tell me about Duke Clark. I've not seen him.
Can catch out of the backfield a little bit. Remember, he came in as Waltrez Clark, right, and changed his name to Duke from the Tampa area. So another guy too that had a good spring and was carried over into the fall. So. And Treon Webb, obviously, his injury situation is a tough one, but if he can get back healthy too, he brings a little experience as well.
The thing I love about Jaden Ball, and Kevin just pointed out, is he played everywhere. And that's one of the reasons that Florida had recruited him heavily as a linebacker. And then they kind of got off of the fact. And when they went back to see him, he was playing different positions and everything like this, and they kind of lost track of him because of that. And then Billy's brother calls him up and says, "You got to see this guy run the football." And they said, "Running back?" They'd never seen him play running back, and they went up there and saw him, and all of a sudden it was like, "Oh my gosh, this guy's a stud." And It kind of reminds me, and I think both you guys will agree with it. Growing up, like in baseball, you always had this one guy that was on your team that he was probably your best pitcher, your best shortstop. He could play first base. He was your best player, and he just wherever you needed him, he was there. Yeah. And you don't see it this much in football because the games become so specialized.
That's right.
But this is a guy that for his high school team, he was everywhere.
He did everything.
He was just the best player on the team. So they played him wherever. He reminds me of those baseball players we grew up with.
Yeah. Hey, guys, real fast, give me 15 seconds on what you're working on. What's your next big story, Kevin, in the Gainesville Sun and for USA Today?
Yeah, I got a little column coming out on Urban Meyer tomorrow, which will be of interest. And also a little more, you talked about Tebow, a little something involving him later in the week, too, that I think will stir some debate as well. So lots of good stuff coming up this week that you guys will, I think, enjoy. And game-by-game predictions coming out on Friday.
Great, nice. Okay, thank you. Franz, what you working on?
Park your entitlement at the door. He talked about that. I asked that question today, and he talked about that. And this is a team that apparently everybody has done that, and that's a good sign.
All right, Franz, thanks a lot. Great job, guys. Appreciate it very much, Franz Beard and Kevin Brockway. Talk to you again soon, all right? All right, folks, that'll wrap up tonight's program. Thank you for listening. Thanks for watching. Tomorrow night, don't forget Lauren Meadows from the Lowdown will be on here with Rob Brown and others. Check him out. Meanwhile, I want to tell you about Titan MRI. It's now Titan MRI and Imaging. They are run now partly by Joe Colorio. He's back there and doing a great job. They have 3 locations to serve you, 2 in Gainesville with Park Avenue, and 1 in the Millennium Center and 1 in Lake City, serving all of Columbia County, Valdosta. Titan MRI Imaging offers same great customer service. They also accept insurance, or you can go through their convenient self-pay options. Titan MRI and Imaging offers MRIs, CAT scans, X-rays, and ultrasounds, easy scheduling with lots of options, including evening. Locations are in North Central Florida. You can check them out. Also coming soon to Marion County, Ocala. We're glad to have them here too. Titan MRI Imaging. Thanks to our guests tonight. Thank you folks for listening and watching. We will encourage you to get more night and see our friend Lauren Meadows, who has great stuff, and he'll update you on practices he's been exposed to and people he's talked to. Oh, he does a great job for us, Lauren Meadows. All right, folks, have a great night.